Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and today we have a Kringle Candle haul. So, oh my god, color me totally surprised. I was not expecting this, but I have a package of the 12 new fall releases from Kringle Candle. There are 6 Kringle and 6 country candles. They are available online today, Thursday, July 13th. On their website, they launched today, and I was just not expecting to get all these candles from them because if you have watched my previous video, they asked me if I wanted to review some of their candles, and I said sure, so I picked out 3 of them, and I did make a video on it. And I was admittedly more critical than maybe some other videos might be out there on candles, but I feel like it was still balanced, and it was just like my thoughts as a candle geek. So I was like, okay, but I wasn't expecting them to still send me candles for review after that video, because like for instance with Homeworks, I made a critical video a while back, and they asked me to take down the video, they called me mean-spirited, and they promptly and swiftly took me off the PR list. So like I've had experiences like that with brands before, so I wasn't expecting for Kringle to still send me them despite the video that I made previous. So thank you so much to Kringle Candle for still continuing to send candles for me for review, despite, you know, putting my thoughts out there. So I appreciate that. So yeah, so there's that. These launched today. I do have a code. It's an affiliate code, so it turns out we actually get like commission or like a little bit of a kickback when you use the code, and I didn't expect that. And so there's a little bit of a payout that you get if somebody uses your code. So you can use code The Candle Channel on the Kringle website for 15% off. So yeah, that's kind of juicy too. So I guess without further ado, let me get into it. Yeah, so I'm not a Kringle expert by any means. Like I've dabbled with Yankee for many years. And Kringle is kind of like the spiritual successor of Yankee Candle. So if you are more interested in the like sort of classic old-fashioned look candle, then Kringle might appeal to you. So I have not smelled any of these. I'm pulling them out of the box. They're still warm from transit and everything. So there's the country candles that look like this, which are reminiscent of the Yankee jars. And then we have this version of the Kringle jars as well, as you can see right here, and I believe the notes are online. The Kringle jars are $29.50, and then the country jars are $28.50, which is pricier, admittedly, than other brands. I think the reason they are pricier is because from what I gather, Kringle seems to have much smaller production runs than the large brands out there like, you know, Bath and Body Works. And then also they are made in USA versus like, let's say made in Vietnam. So that is also going to drive the price up. So it's kind of like if you want made in USA candles with very small production runs, you're going to have to pay for it. So, but you can use the code if you want to get a little bit of a discount. And I don't know if they do too many promos like during the season, but I think they do clearance sales eventually once the season is over. So if they're still around, you can kind of buy them at a sale price then. So without further ado, let me get into it. I guess I'll do the first 6 Kringle candles, and then I'll do country afterwards, and we'll go from there. So we have Leaf Peeper. Interesting choice of name. I'm not really sure what that's supposed to mean, but we have it. This one's actually kind of pretty. It's like almost like a metallic watercolor label on it. So that's kind of fun. It kind of looks like there's, I guess, a little bit of artistic flair to it. So Leaf Peeper. Let's see. What do the notes say on this? Let's see. Lakeside woods are layered by fresh apple and peach notes, dewy crisp greens, and warmed by classic fall spices. So I guess like you're peeping like with your eyes leaves, so you're like looking at leaves outside. Is that what Leaf Peeper is? Okay, this just smells straight up like leaves from Bath and Body Works, which I was kind of planning on picking up a leaves candle this year, and now I don't have to, so I'm a little bit excited about that because now I just have the Kringle version. Yeah, this is totally leaves from Bath and Body Works. So if you like that classic, it's almost like this fermented apple and berry cider type of fragrance is what you get from leaves. It's very juicy and like kind of sweet, but it has like that sort of like potpourri type of fragrance to it, but also very much like that apple cider, like juicy fermented action is what you get from this, with like the heavy spices and everything in there. Very juicy, crisp, like apple is what I get. Yeah, peach slices, lakeside woods. Okay, but yeah, this is just totally leaves. So if you want like Kringle Candle's version of leaves, then check this out. Obviously I haven't burned any of these, so I can't speak for the performance, but from my previous experience with the 2-wick Kringle jars. Low soot, which is good, and low maintenance, which is kind of nice too. And then the throw is kind of very much in the medium range. It just kind of depends on the fragrance. If it's like a heavier fragrance, you'll get a little bit more throw, but they're not as unscented as, like, let's say Yankee Candle is. So that was Leaf Peeper right there. The next one we have is, let's see, Vineyard Harvest. Ooh, okay, so this is another one of those where it's like, it's a photo label, but you can kind of tell like they just applied a Photoshop filter to make it look like a canvas painting on it. But Vineyard Harvest right there, and that's what that looks like. Let's see what the notes say on this one. I don't believe the notes are listed on the bottom, no. And it looks like these are also available in the 3-wick jars, a smaller size of these jars, and then also in a daylight and a wax melt as well. Let's see. Take a walk through a vineyard during fall harvest of dark fruits of plum, raspberry, and blackcurrant, wrapped with fresh rose, warm cedarwood, and creamy vanilla, sugar, and caramel. Wow. Okay, let's see. Okay. I do have to say there's something a little bit throw-uppy about this when you first open it. It's just like, almost like, I think it's like the quote-unquote caramel. There's like a sweetness mixed with like a juicy like plum juice or like a grape juice kind of fragrance that is a little off-putting at the beginning, but it does smell, yeah, it just kind of smells like yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting plum and grape fragrance. Yeah, I just can't get past that like weird like throw up, and I'm sure they don't appreciate me saying that, but it is what it is. Yeah, there's just like something a little bit icky and grody mixed with a very juicy and bright like plum and grape type of like expected vineyard fragrance. So yeah, I'm hoping maybe a little bit of the ickiness will go by the wayside when you go to burn it, but yeah, quite juicy. You know, if you're looking for your classic like vineyard type of like sort of grapey plum, that type of fragrance, then check out Vineyard Harvest right there. And that was that. So just totally my first like unfiltered impression. So yeah. We then have pumpkin waffles. Okay, so that's what that looks like. I'm interested to see how different this will be from pumpkin pecan waffles, which I think people were saying there was already a dupe of that existing in their lineup as a different fragrance, so I don't know what the difference will be. This one says, pumpkin waffles is a sweet, woody fragrance inspired by a delicious morning breakfast of sweet pumpkin waffles and warm maple syrup. That's just like so interesting to me to say that it's a woody fragrance when it's clearly a gourmand fragrance. I just feel like it kind of throws people off unnecessarily, but we'll see if it's a woody fragrance or not. Yeah, okay. It's like a more subdued pumpkin pecan waffles. Like the maple syrup is just not, it's like, everything's in there that's kind of pumpkin pecan waffles, but it's just not quite as sweet. Yeah. And then also I noticed with a lot of the new 100% soy formula, like soy wax tends to have like this underlying like soy wax smell to it, and I often get that with the Kringle and Country candles, that it kind of like slightly tampers with like the cold throw because you're getting a bit of that like soy wax smell. Like the only reason I know this is because I've made candles and wax melts myself, so when you go smell the plain bags of soy wax, it like smells like this, and so it sometimes kind of screws up with the cold throw. But yeah, it's a more subdued, less sweet, less intense pumpkin pecan waffles. You get the brown sugar, you get the maple syrup in there, you get a little bit of that like cinnamon spice, pumpkin spice type of fragrance in there as well. Yeah, that's what that smells like. If it's still very sweet and still very much like a gourmand waffle fragrance, but if the BBW one's a little bit too cloying for you, maybe check this one out, but once again, I won't know until I go to burn it. So pumpkin waffles right there. I do have to say, despite like photo labels kind of going out of style and being a little bit more old-fashioned now, they do evoke a very like quintessential fall moment, which is quite nice. So pumpkin waffles. Okay, moving on, we have 3 more of the Kringles. We have Rosemary Applerita. Okay. This one says, a festive cider accord emerges with classic fall autumn fruits of red apple slices, sweet pear, and orange, and then sugared rosemary sprigs give it a fresh kick with the cinnamon sticks and sugar crystals for a celebrative element. Wow. Okay, so let's see. What does it smell like? Rosemary and apple. Okay. Wow. Kind of smells like a spring fragrance, to be honest. Oh God, what was that? This Garden Sage and Apple from the same time Pink Watermelon came out from Bath and Body Works gives me those vibes, where it's like a fresh, juicy green apple. Although, is this supposed to be a green apple? I don't even know, but mixed with a herbal kick to it. Yeah, kind of interesting. It's very much like gives me springtime garden herbs with apple slices kind of feel is what I get to it. There is like a very, I almost like there's like a earthy greenness to it mixed with very sweet, juicy apples. Yeah, there's even a slight perfumey undertone to it. What are the base notes on this? Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe it's just the rosemary's giving us like perfuminess, but yeah. Okay, interesting. Interesting choice for like a fall fragrance, but I guess apple is appropriate for fall too. So Rosemary Applerita right there. I don't really get anything by the way of like a effervescence or that like champagne note or that sort of like, you know how there's almost like a candied Laffy Taffy note that you get in drink fragrances from BBW? I don't really get that. It's a little bit more grounded and earthy. So that was Rosemary Applerita right there. Moving on, let's see, we have Autumn Spice, and that's what that looks like right here. And then the notes on this say, an exclusive autumn blend of spices and yummy sweetness to create the perfect scent for watching the fall leaves. So cinnamon, orange zest, bakery, fall spice, cloves and leaves, nutmeg, vanilla bean, and tonka bean tea. Yeah, just kind of a generic spice fragrance. And I just get heaps of that like soy wax fragrance in there. Yeah, I can't really say too much about this. Kind of like your generic like kitchen spice type of fragrance. I mean, if you just want just a tried and true spice fragrance, yeah, this exists. So Autumn Spice right there. And lastly, Bourbon Bonfire. And look at how juicy that Aurora Borealis mingles with the metallic label. Oh my God, do you see that? That's really fun. Bourbon Bonfire right there. That one's a very striking label. It does still have that weird canvas effect on it though. Okay, let's see. Bourbon Bonfire. Golden aged rum and whiskey gets spicy texture from cinnamon sticks and clove. Is rounded out by sweet woods and smoked vanilla. Okay, this whiskey drink spirits fragrance must be the like Amalfi was the huge craze during the springtime. I guess these drink fragrances must be the like industry trend for the fall time. Okay. Okay, she's interesting. Yeah, you definitely get, so once again, I don't drink, so I'm completely ignorant when it comes to what's whiskey or what's bourbon. I have no idea. But you definitely get a smoky, but sweet, like woodsy fragrance in there that's mixed with like I guess a bourbon or a whiskey type of like some kind of like alcoholic smokiness is definitely in there with a little bit of a sweetness in the background. Ooh, I like this. It's very kind of in the realm of like smoked vanilla from Bath and Body Works in that type of route, or like if you ride Epcot Spaceship Earth and where Rome is burning, it's that type of like smoky fragrance is definitely in there. Very cozy, but just a little bit of a sweetness where it's not just like your just like plain old fireside fragrance from BBW. There's a little bit more of a, like a juicy sweetness, I guess, that's coming from like the drinks. But yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, if you like smoked vanilla is probably the closest thing I can think of from like BBW in that category of fragrances. Which I think that was called like smoked vanilla whiskey. Was that what it was renamed to? Yeah, so that would make sense. So Bourbon Bonfire right there. Okay, so that was the 6 Kringles, and then we'll go into the 6 Country, and I think these are all like bakery fragrances or gourmand fragrances. So if you've been missing out the gourmand from BBW, maybe these will satisfy your sweet tooth. Let's see, so we have Cherry Crumble, which is, okay, wow, there's a lot going on here. Raspberry Jam, Vanilla Glaze, Sugar, Wild Berry, Flaky Pastry, and Melted Butter. So no mention of cherry, even though that's the name, and raspberry is listed instead. I don't quite understand why they do that. I don't know if it's an oversight or if, yeah, I don't know. It's like, I feel like if someone's looking for a cherry crumble fragrance, they would expect to see cherry in the notes. Like it might well be in there, but if people just go by the notes as a Bible, which they often do, then they might just be like, oh, it's a raspberry fragrance, so I don't want it. But yeah, it smells like but see, it's weird, and it's the power of suggestion too, because now I smell it and I'm just like, this smells more like a raspberry jam fragrance rather than it does cherry. So it's just like, it totally plays with you. So that's why notes are so important. Like, it's totally a marketing tactic, and BBW has it on lock when it comes to power of suggestion and being very selective with their notes, is because it truly is just human nature to like go by power of suggestion. So I smell this, and now, like, I probably would have been like, okay, this smells just like cherries, but now because raspberry jam was listed as the first note, I'm gonna be like, oh, this kind of smells like raspberry jam now. But I guess you could argue that it's both like a cherry berry blend. You do get like a sort of like a brown sugar raspberry jam fragrance to it. It's not exactly wild berry jam donut from BBW, but a similar type of like brown sugar bakery crumble fragrance mixed with like a raspberry jam / cherry jam note in there. Yeah. It's not like, you know, super sophisticated. It's like a cherry crumble, raspberry crumble type of fragrance. So yeah, yeah, heaps of a crumbly brown sugar mixed with like a jammy raspberry cherry blend. But once again, I don't know if it's the power of suggestion from the notes, but I feel like I get more raspberry than I do that like cough syrup cherry that you get from like Black Cherry Merlot. But yeah, so cherry crumble right there. Fun little bakery photo label on that one. Moving on, we have Candied Orange. Okay, let's see. What does this one say? Let's see. Sweet blood orange peel covered with chocolate, vanilla and milky notes with sugar, and then it also lists notes of like chocolate, vanilla, and matcha. Wow. Okay, let's see. Candied Orange. Oh, awesome. Okay. This is like your what is it, the Terry's Whack-A-Chocolate Orange, where like you whack it and it like splits out into the pieces. Was it orange chocolate truffle from BBW? Yeah. Like, because matcha is listed as a note, I might go in here and be like, ooh yeah, I get like a earthy sort of bitter matcha fragrance in the background, but I wouldn't let that deter you. If it wasn't listed on there, I don't think any of us would have ever picked it out. If this is just totally a flow-blown dark chocolate orange fragrance, and I love that. You get that like candied bright orange in there mixed with a chocolate note. Yeah. If you enjoy, like, was it the chocolate orange truffle from BBW or like the Terry's chocolate orange thing, very much in that realm. So kind of fun. I kind of equate that with more of a holiday fragrance because I think that's when those candies are sold, but it exists for the fall time. So Candied Orange right there. Moving on, we have warm Cinnabuns. Okay, let's see. I'm curious to see how this stacks up against like pumpkin cinnamon bun from BBW, which is so divine and so delicious. Let's see, warm Cinnabuns. Okay, let's see. Smell the taste. Literally smells like you're eating a really fresh, warm, gooey, sweet cinnamon bun right from the oven. Okay, let's see. Ooh, it does. Okay. Oh, this is very similar to, ooh, what's her face? Cinnamon Caramel Swirl from BBW, or Caramel Pumpkin Swirl. Yeah, that's totally that. It smells very similar to that. I'm not saying it's exactly that, but very much in the same, like, fragrance category as that. Yeah, very, sugary, sweet, like, sort of maple caramel topping. Yeah, it's very heavy on, like, kind of like the ooey gooey, sort of caramel, maple, and cinnamon gooiness, and it's not quite as like bakery crusty as like pumpkin cinnamon bun from BBW is, even though that one is very much heavy emphasis on the vanilla frosting. This is more like a caramel maple frosting rather than vanilla frosting. And you don't really get that like pumpkin pecan waffles / sugar snickerdoodle bakery base in here, but it does evoke the experience of like smelling a very sweet frosting or icing on top. Yeah, it smells nice. It kind of smells like, the top of the ooey gooiness, but in a more caramel maple, sort of like sugared cinnamon forward type of way. So warm cinnamon buns right there. Moving on, ooh, she's quite juicy. So let's see, pumpkin banana muffin right there, and that's what that looks like. Ooh, I could really go for one of those. Okay, what are the notes on this one? I hope this one doesn't like jutes on me when I open the lid. Let's see. pumpkin puree, mashed banana, creamy butter, cinnamon, nutmeg, vanilla, hints of lemon zest and coconut with drizzled with caramel. Okay, let's see. I gotta be careful on this one. Ooh, okay. Okay, this is totally juicy. Heavy emphasis on the banana. It's kind of like Kringle's version of that pumpkin banana scone thing that's out from Yankee Candle, where you get heaps of like a warm banana that's slightly spiced with, I guess that's kind of evokes what the pumpkin is supposed to be. I wish for a little bit more of like a brown sugar crumbly muffin type of fragrance, but I'm not really picking that up on cold. It's more emphasis on like a spiced banana fragrance, but there's enough of like a pumpkin spice in there that it's not just your average banana bread fragrance. So I appreciate that. But yeah, ooh, I'm excited to burn this one. I love pumpkin and I love banana, so we'll dig into that. So pumpkin banana muffin right there. We have two more. Oh my god, how fun is this? It's just because like I wasn't expecting these. And they're all juicy like fall fragrances, and also it's a brand that I don't really dabble in, so it's just like all new to me, and so it's not just like, oh, it's a repackage of this, that, or the other. So let's see. Churros and chocolate, and that's what this one looks like right there. Okay, what are the notes on this? A Mexican fiesta with spicy cinnamon, spiced sugar, and crunchy on the outside. Chocolate churros are a fried, buttery fried dough with spicy cinnamon spiced sugar and fried buttery fried dough with hints of honey and lemon and creamy chocolate. Okay. Oh, okay, wow. Oh my god, this is kind of fun. Oh, I know what it reminds me of. Okay, this is kind of like, so it's like if you mix cinnamon sugar donut from Bath & Body Works, it's that total like, which is now cinnamon spice vanilla, that fried greasy churro slash donut. No, oh, that makes me so hungry. Mixed with chocolate, and it's like, okay, wait, didn't we have a blend like that? And we sure did. We had hot cocoa and cream mixed with cinnamon spice vanilla as a mashup candle with that like grody tie-dye label. It reminds me of that, which I was kind of like kicking myself for not getting that one, so now I have it in Country Candles version, so I'm kind of excited about that. But yeah, if you want cinnamon sugar donut mixed with chocolate, it's a little bit not quite as like, so hot cocoa and cream is more powdery and dry and like a hot chocolate packet mix type of way. It's not quite as dry as that, but it's not quite as like ooey gooey liquidy as like Hot Fudge Sundae from BBW is. I honestly wish this one was a little bit more like ooey gooey liquidy fudge drizzle. This is kind of like in between. It's not quite dry like hot cocoa and cream is, but it's not quite gooey either. It's just kind of like a there chocolate, but still chocolate nonetheless. Ooh, that's kind of fun. Okay, if you like a cinnamon spice vanilla, cinnamon sugar donut churro with chocolate fragrance, this is like totally up that alley, which is what the name says, so you would hope that would be the case. So chocolate and churros and chocolate right there. Okay, kind of fun. And then lastly, oh my god, let's see, apple pumpkin pie. Ooh, this one's, she's leaking too. So apple pumpkin pie right there. Let's see, what did the notes say on this one? Oh my god, girl, I just need Wi-Fi for one more candle. Okay, let's see. Apple pumpkin pie. Crisp fall apple halves and pear are blended with citrus. Pumpkin puree is wrapped with bold spices. Comforting undertones of vanilla bake notes and allspice completes this delectable aroma. So apple, pear, pumpkin, and vanilla baked notes. Okay, let's see. Ooh, this one's like pooling up at the top. Okay. Interesting. Heavy on the spices. And not so much on the apple. This was not quite what I was expecting, to be honest. Yeah, the nutmeg is super strong on this. Super strong nutmeg with a little bit of cinnamon afterwards, which I guess is what your like pumpkin fragrance is, but it doesn't really have like a pumpkin puree type of fragrance like you would imagine from like pumpkin vanilla creme, aka pumpkin pie from BBW. It doesn't quite have that going on with it. And I don't really get a whole lot of, there's a little bit of like a sweetness from an apple, I suppose, but it's not like a crisp, juicy apple from that like Rosemary Rita thing that we had. Yeah, very spicy. Okay, yeah, it's not, I was expecting like your pumpkin apple slash apple pumpkin type of fragrance, and it's not really that. There was like an apple pumpkin pie from Homeworks that didn't have like any crust note to it, and it was just like balls to the walls like apple pumpkin, like the BBW slash Yankee Candle version. This is not that. There's a little bit of like a crumbliness from how heavy the spice is, but not really. I don't know if I would necessarily go to like pumpkin pie crust in the way like blueberry pie or pumpkin pie from BBW has. So not quite that. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Well, that was apple pumpkin pie. Okay, well that was all 12 candles. Thank you so much for Kringle Candle for sending all these candles over. That was actually really fun. It's just like refreshing to dig into another brand and smell like fragrances that are new, and like you don't have the forever like deception in the back of your mind where it's like, okay, is this just a repackage? Like, it's so nice not to always have to be on edge of whether or not I'm being deceived, which is actually quite refreshing. It's kind of like when you get out of a toxic relationship. Yeah. But in any case, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching. And let me know if you have any thoughts about these candles down below. And there's a ton of these candles, so I don't know when I'll get to individual candle reviews of them, but I will. Like, if something's like really like, oh my god, wow, impressive, then I might do a review on it. So yes, thank you so much for watching. Thank you again for Kringle Candle for sending these candles out, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.